Why modern life is making us quietly miserable. We live in the most comfortable era in human history, a time where abundance surrounds us like never before. At no other point in time have human beings had this much access to food that appears at our doorsteps with a simple tap, to information that flows endlessly from our screens, to entertainment that captivates us for hours on end, to conveniences that make the impossible feel ordinary. If our ancestors could see us today, they would probably gaze in awe, thinking we have conquered the very essence of existence, that we've solved the riddle of life itself. And yet, something feels off. A subtle shadow lingers in the corners of our days. People aren't collapsing in the streets from despair. They're not weeping openly in public squares. They're not shattered in ways that scream for attention. But they are quietly miserable, carrying an invisible weight that presses down gently, persistently. They wake up tired, even after 8 hours of sleep, feeling like the night offered no true rest. They go through their day on autopilot, checking boxes, meeting deadlines, but rarely feeling alive in the moment. They laugh when required, a polite chuckle at a joke, a smile in a meeting, but the joy doesn't reach their eyes. They scroll when bored, endless feeds pulling them in, promising distraction, but delivering numbness. They sleep, but wake up unrefreshed, as if the dreams they chase evade them night after night. This misery doesn't announce itself with thunderous cries. It doesn't shout from the rooftops. It hums, softly, in the background of life, like a distant melody you can't quite shake. And because it's so quiet, so unassuming, it's all too easy to ignore. We push it aside, telling ourselves it's just a phase, or worse, that it's normal. Pause for 3 seconds. Modern life promised us happiness through comfort, and to be fair, it has delivered on that promise in remarkable ways. We have warmth in winter, cool air in summer, and luxuries that once belonged only to kings. But comfort, pause, is not the same thing as fulfillment. It's a soft blanket that warms the body, but leaves the soul yearning for more. Earlier generations struggled with survival, their days filled with the raw grit of existence. They worried about food on the table, shelter from the storms, safety from the unknown threats lurking in the shadows. Life was physically demanding, muscles aching from labor, backs bent from toil. But in that struggle, there was purpose. Their days had structure, rhythms dictated by the sun's rise and fall, by seasons and harvests. Their effort had a visible outcome, a field plowed, a home built, a family fed. You could see the fruits of your labor, touch them, taste them. Their suffering had a reason. It was tied to something greater, a fight for life itself that forged resilience and bonds unbreakable. Today we are safer than ever, insulated from the wild uncertainties of the world, but in that safety we find ourselves more confused, adrift in a sea of options without a compass. When everything is easy, nothing feels truly meaningful. The victories come too quickly, too effortlessly, and fade just as fast. When food is always available, delivered hot and ready, abundance at our fingertips, and with it, so does the deep appreciation for a simple meal shared with loved ones. When entertainment is endless, streams of shows, games, and videos vying for our attention, boredom disappears. But so does creativity, the spark that ignites when the mind is left to wander freely. When silence is removed from life, filled with podcasts, notifications, and constant chatter, so is self-reflection. The quiet spaces where we once met ourselves are now crowded out. We have optimized life for comfort, streamlined every process, automated every task. But in doing so, we've accidentally removed the very conditions that once gave life its depth, its texture, its profound beauty. Imagine a garden where every weed is pulled before it sprouts. Every flower blooms on command. It might look perfect, but it lacks the wild, untamed essence that makes nature alive. Pause for 3 seconds. Now, let's talk about the brain, that ancient marvel inside us, wired for a world long gone. Your brain did not evolve for modern life. It evolved for scarcity, for the thrill of the hunt, the uncertainty of survival, for danger that kept senses sharp, for effort that built strength and rewarded persistence. But today, pleasure is available instantly. A swipe on your phone, a tap on an app, a notification that lights up your screen like a firefly in the dark. Each one gives your brain a small dopamine hit, a fleeting rush, like a sip of nectar that's never quite enough to quench your thirst. Just enough to keep you coming back, craving more. Over time, your brain adjusts. It recalibrates to this constant stream of stimuli, raising the bar for what feels good. Slow activities start to feel painful. Reading a book without interruptions, walking without music. Long conversations feel exhausting, the kind where you dive deep, sharing vulnerabilities under the stars. Deep thinking feels overwhelming, pondering life's big questions without a quick answer from a search engine. Not because you are lazy, no, far from it, but because your brain is overstimulated, bombarded by a digital storm that never lets up. It's like eating sugar all day, spoonful after spoonful of sweetness, and then wondering why real food with its subtle flavors and nourishment tastes so bland. We are consuming pleasure constantly, chasing highs that vanish like smoke, that deep, lasting warmth that comes from within, unprompted and true. Yet here's the inspiration in this. Your brain is adaptable. It can be retrained. By choosing moments of stillness, by savoring the slow, you can rediscover the profound joy that modern life has dimmed, but not destroyed. Pause for 3 seconds. And then there is comparison, that silent thief of contentment. In the past, you compared yourself to people around you, your neighbors, your kin, the faces you saw day in and day out. A small circle, grounded in reality. Now, you compare yourself to the entire world. Billions of lives distilled into pixels on your feed. Every day, you see someone younger doing better, launching empires while you're still finding your footing. Someone richer, living bigger, yachts on turquoise seas, while you sip coffee in your cozy but ordinary home. Someone happier, smiling wider, families laughing in perfect harmony, adventures that seem scripted from dreams. But what you are seeing, pause, is not real life. It's a highlight reel. Carefully curated moments, filters applied, struggles edited out. You are comparing your private struggles, the messy, unfiltered truths of your journey, with someone else's public performance, a stage show designed to dazzle. And slowly, even your own progress stops feeling like progress. You climb mountains, but they feel like hills because the peaks online tower impossibly high. You're doing okay, but okay doesn't feel enough anymore. It feels like settling in a world that screams for more. But remember this, your path is unique. Comparison is the thief, but authenticity is the key. When you turn inward, measuring success by your own growth, that's where true inspiration blooms. We are also always busy, rushing through life like rivers carving canyons, never stopping to admire the view. Busy has become a badge of honor, a status symbol in disguise. I'm busy means I'm important, I'm needed, I'm relevant. It's our armor against feeling insignificant. But busyness without direction is just exhaustion in motion, a whirlwind that spins you around but leaves you in the same place. We rush through days, from meeting to errand to obligation, without asking where we're truly going. We fill calendars to the brim, color-coded blocks stacking like bricks. But in the process, we empty ourselves, draining the well of our spirit. We move constantly, feet pounding pavement, minds racing ahead, without pausing to breathe, but rarely pause long enough to ask what actually matters. What lights your soul? What legacy do you wish to leave? Movement feels like progress until you realize you're running in circles, a hamster on a wheel, expending energy but going nowhere. Yet in this frenzy there's a call to awaken. Slow down, breathe, choose busyness with purpose, and watch how direction transforms exhaustion into exhilaration. Pause for 3 seconds, and despite being connected 24/7, wires and waves linking us across oceans, we are deeply lonely. Islands in a digital sea. We talk more than ever, texts flying like arrows, calls spanning continents. But we connect less than ever, conversations skimming the surface, rarely diving into the depths. We know what people eat, gourmet plates posted with pride, where they travel, sunsets from exotic shores, snippets of life, polished and posed. But we don't know how they feel, the fears that keep them up at night, the dreams that stir their hearts. Real connection requires presence, being fully there, undivided. It requires listening, not just hearing words, but feeling the emotions beneath. It requires vulnerability, peeling back the layers, showing the scars and the stars within. And vulnerability is risky in a world obsessed with appearances, where perfection is the currency. So we keep things light, surface-level chit-chat, emojis standing in for emotions, safe but hollow. And loneliness grows quietly, a vine wrapping around the heart, tightening with each missed opportunity. But here's the beauty. Connection is within reach. One honest conversation, one shared silence, can bridge the gap. Reach out and watch loneliness dissolve into belonging. Not more noise to drown the silence. Not more motivation from fleeting quotes. What helps is intentional discomfort, stepping deliberately into the spaces we've avoided. Choosing silence in a loud world, turning off the devices, letting the quiet wash over you like a gentle rain. Choosing depth in a shallow culture, pursuing passions that demand your full heart, not just your fleeting attention. Doing hard things that don't give instant rewards, climbing the hill not for the view, but for the strength you gain along the way. Spending time alone without numbing yourself, facing the thoughts, the feelings, until clarity emerges like dawn. Learning to sit with boredom until something meaningful emerges from the void, an idea, an insight, a spark of creation. Happiness is not something you find hidden in the next app or purchase. It's something you build, slowly, deliberately, honestly, brick by brick, with your own hands. It's in the small acts of courage, the choices that align with your deepest self. Modern life is not the enemy. It's a canvas, vast and vibrant, waiting for your brushstrokes. But it is fast, a blur of motion that can sweep you away if you're not anchored. And loud, echoes of opinions, ads, and alerts clamoring for your ear. And distracting, pulling your focus like 1,000 threads. And if you don't slow down on purpose, life will speed past you while you're busy scrolling through it. Glimpses of beauty missed in the rush. The goal is not to escape modern life, to flee to some isolated haven. The goal is to live consciously inside it, fully awake, fully engaged. To use technology without letting it use you. A tool in your hand, not a chain around your wrist. To enjoy comfort without becoming empty, savoring the ease while seeking the edges that sharpen your spirit. Because a comfortable life without meaning is just a beautiful cage, gilded bars that confine the soul, but you hold the key. Unlock it, step out, and build a life that's not just comfortable, but profoundly, beautifully alive.